9/11 impacted the entire nation, and 3 UT students were among the thousands that had family members in New York at the time of the attacks. I spoke to them to find out what 9/11 means to them. November 11th, 2001. They often think this.
Let's say shock, mayhem.
Fear, death.
Shock, uneasiness, fear.
While the attacks took place in New York, the University of Texas has students that were directly affected by these terrorist attacks. Scott Robbins, now a senior, was an 11-year-old in Dallas. His father had a meeting in the Tower 2 at 9:30.
My father was supposed to be in Tower 2 when it went down. I believe he had a meeting.
And Scott had no idea.
She called to my school and actually made sure that no one told me what had happened.
Sydney Waldman, a 4th grader at the time, lived in New York at the time of these attacks.
Firefighters from my town went and actually didn't come back.
Her father lost his best friend.
It was the first and I think the only time I've ever seen my dad cry.
Andrew Clark, also a 4th grader, had family in New York. His aunt, a UT graduate, worked in the building next to the World Trade Center.
She worked for American Express, so she worked in the tower that was directly next to the World Trade Center, happened to be, on the ground as everything was going on.
His first reactions were confused, as he was in New York on vacation just a month before.
I was very confused at first as to why people had flown a plane into these buildings that I had just gone to see and thought were so cool. And
to this day, even 10 years later, the attacks will never be forgotten, but the pride of the United States will not be affected.
Throughout 10 years, I think what this nation wants to hear and what this nation is proud to hear is that we've recovered. People will be sad on September 11th, but overall, if you look from now, and go all the way back to then, where we were then, we're much stronger as a country.
John Scott, KVR News.